Hey, what's up guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the Nuraphone headphones. Now in case you're not sure what the hell they are because you haven't heard of them or you just want to know a little bit more about the brands, well, these headphones are rather special. They're not like your everyday over-the-ear headphones. Well, reason why is because they've got in-ear tips within the headphones. I know, it seems pretty radical and seems like a new design, but nevertheless, that's what Nuraphone have chosen. Now, why on earth would you want ear tips whilst you're having over-the-ear headphones? Well, it's simple. The ear tips aren't actually just used purely for sound. They're also used to analyze your ears and therefore give you a personalized sound. How does that work? There's little microphones. Those little microphones pick up the sound frequencies that your eardrums can or can't perceive, and therefore give you a personalized sound, almost like a personalized EQ like you've never heard before. The way this works is really unique, and I really love what Nuraphone have done. So let's talk about pricing. This headphone isn't cheap. It can be found for around £350 in the UK, whilst in the US it's around $350. By comparison, and putting it into perspective, these headphones are over-the-ear active noise cancellation headphones, and that's thanks to the G2 update that came for free for both existing and new users. So top marks for Nuraphone for actually rolling this update out over the ear to existing users as well. That essentially brought noise cancellation and a bunch of other features, which I'll mention in this video. And also link down in the description below so you guys can see the full set of features that they've included through a software update. But the reason I'm mentioning that is because of its competitors. In terms of its competitors, you can find the Sony WH-1000X-M2 for around £264. You've got the Bose Quiet Comfort 35s at £330, and you've got PSP's M4U8, which in my opinion are one of the best sounding active noise cancellation headphones, for around £300. So it's got its work cut out by being one of the most expensive headphones in this roundup, so let's see how it does. Now, build quality and design. Now that wouldn't be complete without talking about the packaging and accessories. Now normally I would gloss over this this part, and that's just simply because of the packaging, but here I do want to give a props up for Nuraphone for actually giving a packaging that also is from a renewable source, more specifically made from potatoes. Therefore, no, you can't eat it, but it's biodegradable, which is pretty cool given in the world of plastic we live in. So props for Nuraphone. Now in terms of the packaging, you'll get these 4 sets of cables. There's an analog cable, lightning cable, USB-C cable, and micro USB cable. In other words, you've got all the cables that you'd ever need in order to plug it into your source. I should bear in mind that the headphones are Bluetooth, so don't worry about that. This is just for an analog connection in case you run out of battery and or you prefer to plug it into an analog source or a digital source given a lightning cable and a USB-C cable. Now, earphone tips weren't initially included with the headphones. However, after telling Nuraphone about my slight discomfort with the stock earphone tips, they provided free tips, and they also mentioned that starting from October, which is at the date of making this video, that they will be providing them for free for existing users if they also feel uncomfortable using their headphones. I keep saying earphones because they're earphones/headphones, but the fact that these will be included with all new packages is a great point as well to make for Nuraphone's customer service. Customers, existing customers, and new customers. Now, I'm presuming if you're going to be watching this video, you're probably going to be someone who's wanting to buy it rather than someone who's already bought it, but nevertheless, it's useful information nevertheless. Now, the case itself is beautiful. It's got a magnetic sort of piece over here, and also the little cable tidy storage unit, or whatever it's called, is also magnetic. Now within this you've also got another USB cable, and this cable is potentially probably the most important one simply because it is used for charging your headphones. So if you're going to be using it for Bluetooth, you're going to need to charge it. Now in case you're wondering, it's got a proprietary Nuraphone or Nura connector, so you can't use your USB-C or USB type A or any other type of USB devices. There's reasons behind this, and I'm pretty sure Nuraphone can explain that in more detail, but in a nutshell, what I think is because if you want to drive the headphones via an analog connection or a digital connection, you need a connector which will enable that, and therefore that's why Nuraphone have designed their very own one. So it's a pro but also a con at the same time. Now in terms of the headphones build quality, you've got an adjustable ear cup on either side. The cups also do wiggle just a little bit in order to fit around your ears and also in your ears. It's crazy to say that in one sentence, but nevertheless. In terms of the right and left indicator, it will be pretty obvious when you put on the headphones, simply because of where the ear tips are positioned. But if you really want a left and right indicator, you're not going to have one because you can't see it anyway around the headphones. The only indicator is where the plug is, which will be on the right hand side. Now moving on to the comfort. Now the comfort is very important for a lot of people, including myself, and it's quite interesting because here you've got a very weird dynamic. You've got in-ear tips combined with over-the-ear headphones. Now how does that combine? Now first of all, let's talk about the pads. The pads are very soft at the top and the sides, so you're not going to have any sort of problems with that, as I mentioned before. However, the ear tips, you're going to want to make sure that you have the right size ear tips going into your ears. Now this is pretty much a earphone 101. Get the right ear tips for the right sound and the best sound, but here it's more it's almost the most important part of the headphones, simply because if you're not going to get a good fit, you're not going to get a good sound profile, and also more than anything you're going to feel uncomfortable. And the reason why is because these ear tips can kind of scratch alongside the inner bit of your ear canal and therefore cause you a lot of discomfort. Now I use medium-sized ear tips all the time, and yet I had to use the smaller sized ear tips that Nuraphone provide for the headphones, simply because the medium sized ear tips were the equivalent of large or extra large ear tips that I'd be normally accustomed to. So bear that in mind. If you have got very small ear canals, you might find this a bit too big to fit comfortably and for long periods of time in your ear. Now, due to its design, you do get a slight little reverberation when you're running or you're walking at a fast pace. This doesn't occur when you're just normally walking at a normal stride. However, I tend to walk very fast, or I did try and jog with these headphones, and what I noticed is this kind of like wobbly effect. Now this effect doesn't seem like much on video, but when these are in your ears, you hear that kind of amplified within your ears, and that sounds very loud, like a wobbly sound, almost just as I said, like that. But nevertheless, that's the sound that you will hear. That can create a sort of uncomfortable feel and also ruin the overall sound quality experience. Now the button on the left and right hand side are used to control the headphones. Now within the app settings you'll be able to customize these 4 buttons, and this is also due to the G2 update. Normally you'd only have 2 controls, as in the left and right button, but here you've got 4. By tapping or double tapping either side you can have a certain command, and the commands are as listed on the video, as you can see right now, but nevertheless it's quite nice that you can customize it to your heart's content. Pretty much everything that you'd want in terms of media controls. Now there is a slight sort of audible sound when you tap them. Now I'll have to pop the headphones onto my head, or else they don't seem to show up. But as soon as it connects and recognizes it's on my head. So there we go, I've got it connected, and right now you should be able to see in the video in the background me waving, and you can see me tapping on the headphone. If I tap once, what I've got it configured to is to go to the next song. If I double tap, it goes back, just to show you that. Now there's a slight sound to it. And that sound is pretty audible when you hear it, and also is audible from the outside as well. So I really like what Nuraphone have done over here. Those sort of controls allow you a great array of customization. Now the app, as you can see, kind of disconnects when the headphones are down, and it's something I do want to mention.
Essentially, the headphones automatically switch off or turn off, so to speak, or go in a sort of standby mode when you put them down. This also applies when you put them around your neck. Sometimes I found that the results to be a bit hit and miss, and I also found it sometimes to also be a little bit too sensitive. In other words, if I wanted to talk to my friend and put the headphones down or put them around my neck and then quickly put them back on, it would take that extra second or couple of seconds for it to recognize it's back on the head and or it's been put on the ground. Just something I think that Nuraphone could improve on, potentially with another firmware update, but it's just something I thought I should mention. Now, through the app, what you'll be able to see is a whole variety of customization. If I just pop back the headphones on, and now I am connected back with the headphones with them on my head, and you can now see my sound profile. Now, the sound profile, there's no right or wrong in it really. It's just to do with how you hear the frequencies, starting from the low end tones going all the way to the high end tones. It's quite cool the way that Nuraphone have kind of displayed this via these kind of like circular, visual, colourful circles. You'll be able to see I set up Laura, my girlfriend, as well on it, and the way it looks like is obviously a little bit different, not radically different, but some people will have radically different sound profiles. And therefore this will accustom to how you hear the sound. So when I switch over to Laura's profile, sound is kind of odd simply because I'm hearing what she hears. And that's not to say it's a bad thing, it's just the way that her ears pick it up. Now, over here you can also turn it to the neutral sound, which in other words, it's not a personalized sound and everyone will be able to hear the same thing over here. But I feel that this mode is kind of artificial. It's really bad in all sorts of frequencies, so I'd definitely never suggest that. Always get a personalized sound, even if it's not your own, you get a lot better sound. Now, that immersion mode over here at the bottom can be adjusted. Now, this immersion mode has the little cups, and the cups of the earphones basically vibrate. And the more you slide to the right, the bigger and the more vibration you will get from them. It's a pretty cool feature, but in my opinion, as you can see on my setting, I've set it to a pretty low profile simply because I felt that sort of immersion factor does take away from the sound and can distort a sound, especially when you've got it on the front row setting. Other than that, through the app you'll be able to see your battery settings, share your profiles, and even refer a friend to earn some sort of commission. So that's the app in a nutshell. It works flawlessly, I have no sort of complaints with it, and you can enable and disable social mode directly from the app. And a social mode is, in other words, a way of having a transparency, so you can hear what is on the outside world. So by pressing it, I can hear my voice and I can hear everything, like the small little clicks and everything like that around me. But with it disabled, I have active noise cancellation enabled, and pretty much hear myself in a muffled sort of way as you normally would hear yourself through headphones. Now to the most important part, the sound quality. Now, in case you're wondering why I'm wearing the headphones, it's because I just wanted to show you guys how it looks like while I'm talking about the sound quality section. As you can see, the headphones look pretty cool. They don't look like some sort of cheap headphones, neither do they look like something that's gold, platinum, or something like that that's going to be screaming out, look at me, I'm very premium headphones. They've got a nice design, and I really like what Nuraphone have done there. I think these will appeal to the masses. Around the ears, as you can see, they look nice, but unfortunately they don't fold or rotate or pivot or anything like that. So bear that in mind if you're going to be transporting it outside of its case, or cases, shall I say, or if you're just going to be wearing it around the neck for a large portion of the day. Now, sound quality is very subjective. It always is when it comes to audio, but this headphone, of all headphones to mention, is the most subjective sound that you're going to find, simply because the sound is very much tailored to me. No one else but me. And even if I go on someone else's sound profile, it just won't be right because the microphones aren't being adjusted or EQ'd right to what my ears can hear. So with that in mind, you have to take into account that what I'm sharing with you now is my subjective thoughts about the headphones. There's a slight bit of objectivity in it, and that's because I've compared them to a variety of audiophile grade headphones, or even the headphones I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the active noise cancellation headphones, and I can sort of give you a sort of feel of where they sit sonically versus its competitors.
In terms of its sub-bass, I feel that it has a very nice extension, however it does cut off. You can hear that cut off and it doesn't rumble as the PSP speakers do. The mid-bass slam is very nice and pronounced. It's pretty clean, however I would have liked a little bit more control. Again, the PSP speakers do a better job, however these are leagues above the Sony and Bose equivalent. In terms of the mid-range, now this is where the Nuraphone really shines. It's got a very forward mid-range and it's not pushed back. Lower mids are there and the upper mids aren't too accentuated or have a weird sort of dip. They're actually very prominent. When I compare it to most of its competitors, I kind of like the Nuraphone's sound signature. It sounds very nice and doesn't sound out of place no matter what music I threw at it. In terms of the highs, they're not sibilant, they're not ear-piercing of any sort, but they're extended and they don't roll off very sharply. Some headphones, like the Bose QC35s, roll off at the top end, so they'll sound very nice and smooth at the top, but not very accurate sounding. These, on the other hand, sound fantastic and are very much capable of hitting that high-end pitches. In terms of its overall soundstage, I must say, let alone from the immersion mode that you actually have, and even though that's adjusting sort of like the way it vibrates around your head, the actual sound stage is impressive. You've got a nice sort of 360 sound, well 360-esque sound, with a great depth and width to the headphones. Now, the headphones, due to their build quality, aren't going to give you that woody sort of sound that you would expect from, let's say, a pair of custom modded Denon headphones, or let's say Fostex headphones. Neither are you going to get that sort of open back sound that you're going to get from some HD 800s. I know these are way out of the class, but I'm just trying to give you an example of flagship headphones in those categories. You're not going to get that type of sound, but what you do get is kind of like a semi-open sound. That doesn't mean that you're gonna get a lot of ambient noise. Far from it. You get a fantastic instrument separation, a great source of tonality, and amazing imaging. Again, just bear in mind the quality of the headphones or what they're made out of, rather than it being woody or sort of like a warm sound or an open, fully open sound. Now, one more thing I do also want to mention is their isolation. Now, active noise cancellation is very much important in these headphones. Not only because of the G2 update, which came for free, as I said, for existing and new users, but also for the fact of how it compares in comparison to its competitors. More so because of its earphones, its passive noise cancellation is quite impressive. Actually, I would say these are potentially one of the best passive noise cancellation headphones you can find on the market. By that I mean passive noise cancellation is when you put your ear over your hand over your ear, and then you kind of block out sound just simply because there's a sort of barrier between your ear and the sounds that are coming from outside. This does it in the respect of they have got earphones and an over-the-ear cup which sits around your ears, and therefore passively you get the best sort of isolation. With active noise cancellation enabled as well on top of that, and bear in mind the active noise cancellation isn't as good as the Sony 1000X M2 or the Bose QC35s, you do get one of the best isolating sounds that you can find on the market. Passive and active noise cancellation have never combined in a way like these Nuraphone headphones do, so you're going to be totally immersed in terms of your music, and you're going to really enjoy the sound quality coming out of them based on what I just said in terms of their overall sound frequency. So how do I rate these Nuraphone headphones? Now, they are expensive and they do come at a pretty big premium over most of its competitors, but there's nothing in the market that are like it. Nothing has Bluetooth aptX HD, which is one of the most advanced wireless transmissions that you can have on a headphone or a source. A headphone that has free updates or firmware updates, which adds great functionalities, and a headphone that not only sounds good but is also personalized to sound good for you. That's pretty unique, and for that I must say I would highly recommend them. It's not often I would pick up a headphone like this and be very, very impressed, but in this case I would thoroughly recommend them. They're really the all-round package that everyone would be looking for. The PSP speakers as an example, my conclusion on those headphones were they're the best sounding ANC headphones you can find. period. Still, to this day, even hearing the Nuraphone headphones, they're still the best sounding headphones. But their comfort and the design and the look do let them down. The Bose and the Sonys look great and have got fantastic active noise cancellation. However, their sound in comparison to the Nuraphone lets it down. And in this case, the Nuraphone takes a bit of best of all worlds and combines it into one package and provides a pretty unique headphone. And I couldn't quite say unique, unique wouldn't really apply more than this product. It is a very unique product, not only for the market, but also to yourselves when you're listening to a very personalized sound. So there we go, guys. I've been Totally Dubbed. I'm sorry this has been a long video. Again, when I do my videos, I try and keep them condensed, but I really do want to cover all my thoughts and also want to give them an in-depth sort of feel so you guys understand my sort of thoughts and experience about these headphones while using them. If you like this review and you like this unpaid, unbiased, independent review, make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe, favorite and share, and let me know in the comments below what you think about these funky headphones, and more so if you've actually bought them because of this video or bought them and come to this video to see what my thoughts are. I would really like to hear your thoughts. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed. Take care and bye bye.